This is the Demia Avery Show, hosted by Demia Avery, where some of your favorite entertainers, celebs, and entrepreneurs come to highlight all of their many talents.
Hello, everyone. This is Demia Avery of the Demia Avery Show, and I am so excited today to have my next guest. You know him from The Family Business, Atlanta, and his unforgettable portrayal of D-Rock in the movie Notorious. Please welcome director, writer, producer, acting coach, the amazing, talented Dennis L.A. White. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. I'm absolutely honored that you come on the show today. And listen, for our viewers, I have to start off a little bit to the beginning. So, if you don't mind telling us what inspired you to pursue acting and what was your first role? I'm curious to know if you remember what your first role was.
I was doing play, singing, and doing poetry as a kid. I love watching old movies, Cab Calloway, Bing Crosby, Louis Armstrong. So that was kind of my first motivation. Um, my first play was like in kindergarten. I played like um, the a lion or a troll or something in a play. It was crazy. I got a picture of it. I had a crazy wig on and all this stuff. That was my first play as a kid. I used to do. When I lived in California. I used to every Black History Month I would do performances. I would perform a Dream Deferred the poem. I would impersonate Louis Armstrong. Like I was always performing and playing sports.
Yeah.
Um, my first film was um, I can't even remember my first film. Swimming. It was swimming
Okay.
with Lauren Ambrose and some other people, and we shot that in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My very first
See, I
film.
had to take you back a
It's
little bit.
mind blowing, just all the aspect of it. Yeah, I was that. I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, that was my first. That was the first
Awesome.
one. Yeah.
Okay, so of course we know you from different things, but I have to bring up Notorious. It was a breakout role. I would say it was one of your breakout roles for you. How did that come about for you, and how did it shape your career in general?
Well, during that time, we didn't really have a lot of social media. We had only MySpace. If
Mm.
people remember that, and so there was buzz about film being produced, and I was a big Biggie Smalls fan, so I definitely wanted to be a part of it. And so I knew the casting director um, from I auditioned for her for a project for MTV, which I didn't get, but I knew her. And so I was just reaching out to her, Wendy McKenzie, and just, letting her know, like, hey, I'm here. Anytime you have
Yeah.
auditions, let me know. And so I ended up running into her and Twinkie Bird, who is the main casting director, at my acting coach's class. I just stopped by randomly, and she was there, and so I spoke to them and he let them know I was interested, and that was probably like on a Tuesday, Wednesday. That Friday, I got a call for an audition,
Mhm.
so it happened that fast, but I still the audition process was pretty long. I had about 4 or 5 callbacks,
Mm.
chemistry reads, and it was a lot. And just making sure I was right for the role, and I really, I really prepared heavy for it,
Yeah.
and get that call. My acting coach told me that I don't know if people know, but when they're casting for films, when they cast a person, they have all the pictures on the wall. And
Okay.
so she went to the office. My picture was on the wall. This was like on a Thursday. And she's like, Dennis, you booked the role. I'm like, oh my God. So I got a call to come in the next day for another callback, and no one said anything about me booking the role. The director, he walked past me, didn't speak to me, and I'm like, I was confused. So they said nothing. So that whole weekend, I'm at home. I was living in Brooklyn at the time, and people were just, for some reason, people just really wanted to play Biggie Smalls that weekend. So I was hearing Biggie left and right everywhere I went. I'm like, I better book this role. So Monday they called me and told me that I booked the role. So I
That's
was
amazing.
ecstatic.
That's amazing. And you know what? I wanted to ask you, without going into the whole Diddy trial and all that other kind of stuff, but by you playing the character of D-Rock, which was definitely, in the whole Diddy team, how does it make
Mm-hmm.
you feel now? Is it like knowing that, okay, he's been put out, you know, out front, his name comes up all the time, and knowing that you played that role, does it make you feel any kind of way now that you played it at all?
No. So my relationship with Diddy has always been cool, professional. He's never came at me crazy. He never talked to me crazy. He never approached me crazily. I've been to a lot of Diddy parties, and from this house in the Hamptons to the one in L.A. I never been to his house in Miami, but I've been to a lot of his parties. His 40th birthday party at the Plaza Hotel, his 50th birthday party, which everyone and anybody was there, and I never had any situation comfortable, and I just thank God about it. And whatever he has done, he has his cross to bear, and whether wrong or right, if justice is served in the courtroom or not, he still has to, atone for what he's done wrong or what he's done right. So
Right.
I can't judge him. I condone things he's done negatively, but we all have our idiosyncrasies. And so I just pray for everybody involved, especially his kids. I love his sons. I love his kids. I love
Mm,
them. And
mm.
so those are like my little babies, and I pray for them. I pray for his kids, and that they get peace within the situation.
Yeah, love that. Now, going forward, you've had other roles also, reoccurring roles with the family business in Atlanta. Now, you are a true actor. So, how do you prepare for your role? Do you have like special things that you do before you prepare for the role? Do you get really into it? How do you prepare for your roles?
Yeah, I'm not like a method actor where I have to go and do certain things that my character does. Like I'm not crazy like that. Only like played D-Rock, I did go up to a prison a couple times to see some of my homies and
Mm.
just kind of get that essence. But when it comes to the family business, that was a fun project because it was truly family. We all knew each other before that. Sean Ringgold was in Notorious as well. Darren Henson is my big homie. Like we all knew each other, so the energy permeates on the screen. So for me, I just make sure I study my character, I break down my character, and I understand what the character's viewpoint is in the script and trying to convey that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, if you could tell me what was your most challenging role, what would that be?
my most challenging role. Um, I don't know. I mean, Atlanta was different because you didn't know what you were doing. We didn't
Okay.
know how it ended up, so it didn't make sense random. So, um, you know, I didn't even. I had no inkling of how it was going to play out, and
Okay.
then when I saw, it, I was like, "Oh, that's what he was doing." So that was different, not knowing the end result. Um, I mean, every role is challenging and easy. Every role is challenging because I make every role different. Like there's no role that I play that I portray that's the same as before. Um, that's a great question. I can't think of any my most challenging role.
Mhm.
Probably my role in a movie called All In with Little
Okay.
Mama, because I didn't really like my character. I didn't like so
Okay.
one I didn't like and try to find was extremely challenging.
Mm,
I hated
mm.
that guy. He was the worst. But
Oh
other than
my.
that, I've always had roles that I can really bite my teeth into, like the Brave one with Jodie Foster. That was my first major film, and that was eye opening as far as learning and the experience.
Yeah. Now you wear so many hats. You're an actor, writer, producer, director. You're a busy guy. So how do you like balance all of that stuff? Do you like, okay, so this season I'm just going to do all acting, and then there's another season where I'm just going to break it down, I'm just going to hold that off, and then I'm going to do some directing. How do you balance everything?
Well, the check is always important situation. So, it's not all about the money, but it's all about the money, but it's not all about it's not all about the money. Now, I just open myself to what's pertinent important at the time. Teaching is something I love to do, and I've been teaching my company at I've been doing that for like 16 years now. That's crazy. And so I love to do that. So I'm constantly doing that. Acting is something that I feel I'm great at and I love to do. Directing is something new and fresh and more challenging to me. So I get more vigor for that. Writing, my pen game is nice. So just I I I have to balance it out and just do everything. We only have one life, and for you to wait and not do what you want to do is a travesty. So I try to do everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you could, as you can tell, I like to ask a lot of questions. So if you could share the most memorable or surprising moment from the behind the scenes on, what would you say that would be?
Um, Probably like I almost died in Notorious. There's a scene when Biggie was murdered and assassinated. Um, we had a guy who was like an extra, and he was sitting in the driver's seat of the truck, and he wasn't supposed to drive off. So, you know, we do the scene. I get about to jump in the car. He drives off, and I'm hanging like onto the door. The door open. I'm holding flailing in the air, and when you shoot at night, they wet the ground so it can reflect the light. So the the truck is fishtailing, and I'm hanging out in the air. It was so crazy, and he got fired immediately after that. But that was one of the craziest things
Okay, so
that happened.
you didn't have to method act at that point. You was actually doing it for real at that point.
Oh shit, I was scared. Yeah, shook. I was shook like dice. It was crazy,
Now, have you
but
ever
it looked good on camera. It looked good, but woof, it was crazy.
have you ever turned down a role due to like maybe personal values or vision or anything like that?
Definitely,
Hmm.
definitely. There's certain characters I won't portray. Um, there's certain things that I feel like I have a responsibility to my family, my friends, and people that follow my career to have a certain type of honor in what I portray, whether it's a bad character or whatever. But certain things I won't do on camera.
Hmm.
I'll leave that to other actors. But there's certain things I definitely won't do.
Understood. Now, you mentioned to
So there's
me,
roles that have been presented to me.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go
there's
ahead.
roles that's been presented that I said no, I don't do that. And
Mhm.
I stand on my morals.
Yeah, yeah. Now I know that you teach. You you have an acting school, actlikeyouknow.org. Tell us more about that.
So when I first started it was just because I was getting a lot of calls from actors asking me questions about things, and I had the answers. I knew all of them. I was like, wow, I know a lot about this business. And so I decided to do a workshop in New York, and I expected maybe 4 or 5 people come, but it was packed out.
Mm.
And I was like, there's really a need for knowledge that I have. So I started teaching. I teach, kids to aspiring actors, to working actors, to celebrities. I have a lot of celebrities that I work with one-on-one, and just giving them the business and how to approach each character properly, and not just what they do on screen, but behind the scenes as well. How to set up their business, how to look for jobs. I've been traveling, me and my business partner, Braley Evans, we've been doing workshops in different cities, just helping these actors. And we have one coming up in Chicago where we're asked that register or also get a chance to co-produce and be in a movie that we're going to shoot during the workshop.
Mm. Okay. I love that. Now, if what message or legacy would you want to leave behind that you hope your work leaves behind? What would you want that to be?
That Dennis successfully portrayed every character he had. Like there's no character that I punted on. Every character I gave my all and helped move the story.
Mm. Mm.
And that stand up man. There's a lot of conversation about toxic masculinity, and I don't think masculinity is toxic. I think it should be cherished. Just like femininity should be cherished. I think masculinity should be cherished. And, I surround myself with men that are strong stand-up men. And I appreciate that. That's something that's been in society has been downplayed, but I'm hoping there's a resurgence. There's nothing wrong with being masculine.
I love it. I love that. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you some questions. It's a little bit of a rapid fire type situation. So it's just a few questions. I
Okay.
promise it's not going to be too bad. Okay.
So, okay.
First, first question. Give me one role you wish you had played.
Um, Black Panther.
Ah,
Shout out to my RIP, my boy Chadwick Boseman. But yeah, I think that was a great character.
love it. Most starstruck moment on set.
Whew. Beyonce. Woo! When I
Would
when
you?
I used to host I had a TV show on Fuse Network,
Mhm.
and it was a music show like a TRL situation, and she came, Destiny Child came to the set, and I was just like, I was mush. It was so crazy. The whole crew knew I loved Beyonce, so they was laughing at me. Oh, it was so crazy. But we became friends and everything. I love Beyonce, her and Jay. But yeah, I was starstruck.
That is
Yeah.
funny. Okay, dream co-star or director to work with.
Dream co-star will have to be Jeffrey Wright
Mm, mm.
and Scorsese.
Nice, nice. Okay, go to hype song before a big audition or scene.
Uh, uh, 50 Cent, if I can't do it, it can't be done.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So
Yeah.
what's next for you? Any upcoming projects or anything you're excited about?
Man. So I start a film next week called To Be or To Not To Be. Like Tubi, it's a parody on Tubi movies, comedy. That's gonna be fun. I have a TV series coming out called Dope Unit.
Mm,
That's coming out in the fall.
hmm.
Um, so I can't wait for people to see that. There's a lot of great actors in that. News Cycle that's coming out. I think it's coming out in August. It's about a news team who gets hijacked by terrorists. That is going to be really a riveting film. My film, Careful What You Ask For, we're putting finishing touches on that right now. The workshops that I have in different cities, Memphis, Baltimore, Chicago, L.A. And I got a bunch of movies coming out that I've shot past this year. I've been really busy, so there's a lot of movies coming out, but those are the ones I'm really excited about for the world to see. And hopefully we're shooting Cold and Windy season 3 soon. So that script is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What advice would you give
Uh,
to young actors?
to learn, to study, to soak it up, every information you can, to go after it, and to enjoy yourself. A lot of times in this business, um, resting on your laurels is not appreciated. And the question is always like, what's next? What's next? We have to learn to appreciate what the next is, or we focus, or we lose ourselves. So those are the things. Just make sure you appreciate, you enjoy the journey of it, and because it is a journey. It's not an easy road. It is a journey, but it's a beautiful journey. Um, and love on your family in the meantime. Take time to do you.
Okay.
It can get overwhelming sometimes. You're pursuing work and you're pursuing success. You have to have that time where you can just enjoy your friends and your family to keep you sane.
I love that. I love that. Now, if fans wanted to follow you and support you, where would they go to do that? Or get some acting classes?
Yeah, well, if you're interested in acting, you can go to actlikeyouKnow.org. It's just how it sounds, actlikeyouKnow.org. And I do private coaching, I do consultation, I do workshops, I do a lot of different things. I do unset coaching for celebrities. If you want to follow me, social media is Dennis L.A. White on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, OnlyFans. I was playing, but yeah. So that's it. I engage with my people, and I'm all about building this acting community.
Okay, so before we go, I have a question that I ask of all of my guests. I ain't gonna tell you how old I am, but I love old school music. I love old school music.
28.
How?
28.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm 57.
Oh my God. It's
So
wonderful.
I'll take your 28. I'll take your 28. But I'm an old school lover. And I ask everybody, name your favorite old school artist and or song.
Oh my God. Old school artists. Um, I don't know if I have a favorite because I love music so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Slide and the Family Stone. If you want me to stay, I'll
Yeah,
be around the way. And I love Sly Stone.
yeah.
I don't know if you call like Guy old school.
Okay, yeah. 90s.
But Jackson 5. I was a big Michael Jackson fan, man. I don't know, man. It's so many. Uh, I'll stick with Sly Stone and Donny Hathaway.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, the songs for you.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Donnie. So
Yeah.
awesome.
You
Awesome.
know, music we grew up on,
Uh-huh.
through our parents and us. I feel it had more heart and more soul to it compared to the music nowadays. There's some I like music from all genres, but there's a lot that's like Uh,
Are you still there? Because it broke up a little bit.
oh yeah, sorry, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
The
we're gonna
weather
go.
is uh,
That's okay. We're gonna go, but and I agree with you about the whole music thing because people always say to me, you listen to a lot of old school music. You'll never listen to what's going on today. I rarely turn my radio on, but the thing is that it's not just in like the stuff that's happening that today. I mean, it is this generation, but and not that they don't have heart or any of that, but it was just different back, in old school music. Like you
yeah,
said, everything had true heart and had lyrics, and we had the intro, the bridge, and then we and then we had the ending of the song.
yeah,
So I'm so used to that. I love it.
yeah.
Awesome.
And
Well,
I
listen.
think that because
Uh-huh.
of the censorship of music back then, they had to find more innovative ways to say certain things. So
That's
now they
true.
could just like, I want to put it in you right now, right? Give it to me. You
Yeah.
know, take it on top. My booty, like, oh, they can say all kind of crazy now. But previously you had to be more selective how you say things and be smooth with it. You know, so I think that made it more creative, um, selectively. Now it's just there's no holds barred.
And you ain't lying about that. But listen, thank you so much for coming on my show. Come back anytime you got anything going on that you want to get out there, you want to promote, please come back. I enjoyed you very much.
Thank you for having me. I
You're
appreciate it.
so welcome. All right, guys, we want to thank Dennis L.A. White for coming on the show today. Make sure you go to all of his social media links. I'm going to make sure that we got it right down below, as well as any acting coaching that you may need. Look at this man here, get all of that information, and we are out of here. Bye bye.